The Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, has stated that India has had a decisive win over the Pakistanis in the kinetic phase of Operation Sindoor.
When I was asked about losses on our side, I said these are not important. The results and how you act is important. So it would be not very correct to talk about losses, means numbers, etc. Means I'll give a detailed kind of an answer on this. You see in a match, suppose you go into a football match and you win 3-2. He scored 2 goals and you scored 4 goals. So that's an even-sided match. But suppose you go on in a test match, cricket test match, and you win by innings defeat. Then there's no question of how many wickets and how many balls and how many players. It's an innings kind of a defeat.
India's effective defences against Pakistan's drone and missile onslaught and the counter-strike on Pakistani air bases forced Islamabad to sue for peace.
10th of May at about 1 a.m., its aim was to get down India to its knees in 48 hours. Multiple attacks were launched. And in some manner, they have escalated this conflict, which we had actually hit only terrorist targets, but also into the military domain. From their perspective, it would have been rational in the sense they would have said that you used military means to hit these targets. But it was also rational on their part, operation which they thought they'll continue for 48 hours, folded up in about 8 hours. And on 10th, when they picked up the telephone and said they wanted to talk. And I think that the rationale behind this the realization coming in, stemmed from 2 facts. That one is they must have assumed that if they continued this mode, they're likely to lose much more. So hence they picked up the telephone. And second thing, since they had stuck us at multiple fronts, they still did not have the benefit of understanding what they had stuck. So they must have thought they must have stuck, and hence there's time to talk now. And if they don't, they'll tend to lose more. So these were the 2 factors which would have made them to take, but it's only after say 1 or 2 days they would have realized that all their kind of attacks which they had launched against us had not fortified, and they had all kind of failed.
Operation Sindoor was a response to Pakistan's repeated terror attacks against India, which is a part of a deep-rooted strategy.
There is about state-sponsored terrorism. Is this rational? Think that this seems to be a rational decision when state is employing terrorism as an instrument to achieve political objectives. And say so it's a reasoned kind of a decision which state takes, and so as our adversary is concerned, he's taken the decision that to bleed India by 1,000 cuts. And when I say that this has been a state policy, this I'm not saying. If you go and look at literature on issues, you'll find Peter Chark, Kristen Fair, who have cited the former Director Generals of ISI, explicating this particular strategy as to how they will bleed India by 1,000 cuts. And this particular doctrine is found in various studies in Pakistan Staff College, Quetta, etc. So this is the normal talk which happens in Pakistan. And of course, officially we know in the 1965, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto declared a 1,000-year war against India when he addressed the United Nations Security Council. And probably Ziaul Haq gave form to this particular doctrine of 1,000 years war. And someone added that you should add this 1,000 cut into it. And similar kind of venom was spewed by General Asim Munir against India and Hindus. Speech just few days or weeks before what happened in Pahalgam.
The top Indian general added that from now on, Pakistan will have to pay a price for any terror activity against India.
Because now Pakistan is faced with a different kind of a prospect that he faces military action in case we find terror happening against us. And also, we said that we'll have water as well as, this thing will not float together. So we have kind of raised the bar. We have connected terror to water, and we have drawn out new lines for military operations against terror.
The Indian armed forces have demonstrated a clear edge over the Pakistani forces, which forced the Pakistanis to sue for peace. India achieved all its targets on the first night, while later ensuring it sends a strong desist or else message to Rawalpindi.